I agree with you. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say the quality of these transformers we're talking about, as we assemble them locally, we must also make sure that the quality is to the standard that we expect, because at the moment, Honorable Speaker, we are having so many transformers blown off. We are having so many issues with transformers in constituencies. And as transformers, we need to check on the quality of transformers. We also need to check on the quality that is being done at substation level, Honorable Speaker. I'm giving you an example, Honorable Speaker, of a substation in Undanyi that was launched by the President 3-4 months ago. But since it was launched, Honorable Speaker, we've not seen stability and reliability of power improving, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, as we look at reducing cost of transformers, we must also look at the cost of substations that are not adding value to the stability of power. We must also look at the cost of transformers that keep blowing off, Honorable Speaker. We must also look at
Wait, don't tell him what to take.
The Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi, member for Kwanza.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think I'm one man who has been here the whole day, but I want to take this opportunity to support the one of the most developed area in the region, and therefore I think we should actually impress on this, because the mover, when he was moving, he says that over 400 units are imported every year. Over 4,000. Now that means that if this was done locally here, Madam Speaker, you can imagine just how easy it is in terms of the pricing of this particular one. Then of course, would also have been promoted local manufacturing skills, and more especially in terms of job creation. And therefore I want to support this particular bill, because I think it's in itself very, very motive, and I wish it came much earlier. I think you blame me or blame other people not to have come up with this much earlier, because it's a very, very emotive bill. Secondly, this country, as it is today, is like a supermarket where things are brought in and, they charge you anything. And the prices of imported transformer, Madam Speaker, is very high. But if it was locally made, rather assembled, of course we may want to have all the parts here, locally made here, but if I to import and assemble here, again, of course, Kenya will not be just a supermarket like it is today, where actually, and as somebody mentioned also, you walk out there as a member of parliament, I'm told, there's no electricity. Not because you're not able to pay, but they're not there. There's also a short supply of these particular transformers, and therefore I think this particular bill to me is very, very important, and I think that's come at the right time. Let's pass it so that can be able to have this locally manufactured and assembled here, so that can create more jobs for technical staff that actually we are training today in the TVET and even Polytechnic and even the universities with a very good electrical knowledge. And therefore, I think without wasting so much time, we have talked about it, and I think we do not want to go beyond that. Let's at least initiate this. We remove this 25% and be able to have the transformers locally assembled here, and then make Kenya actually a supermarket. With those few remarks, I support this particular bill. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Kawanjiko, member for Kiamba. If we go at that speed, we'll have many people speaking on this. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important motion and bill. The issue of transformer and electricity connection is a very emotive issue, and Madam Speaker, I think we should support anything that will help us to increase the capacity of connecting our people to the grid, anything that will help us also to make sure that we lower the cost of manufacturing, because anything that is supporting the local manufacturing, it is very, very important, because by the time we are creating and supporting the local manufacturing, making sure that they are able to employ more people, making sure also we connect as many manufacturers as possible in terms of creations of employment, Madam Speaker. And I support it 100%. We must also deal with the issue of those people who steal these imported components of electricity, Madam Speaker, you normally see that we connect maybe 10 or 100 transformers, but within maybe the same month, you may realize we are losing about 20 or 30 transformers to scrap metals people, Madam Speaker. So therefore, we must be deliberate to make sure that we cap those people, we deal categorically with those people who steal transformers because they are known in this republic. We have seen a case also whereby that the DCI were able to engage and maybe also arrest those people who have been stealing transformers. But within a month, we realize that these people again, they are, especially in our local areas in Kiambu, Kiamba, all the constituencies within the Kiambu County, we realized the same person who had been stealing transformers was released by the court because he got himself a board, and the same problem has started again to reoccur. So therefore, Madam Speaker, we must call out the National Police Service, Service to make sure that these people who are really vandalizing these transformers, they are dealt with in totality, Madam Speaker. The issue of manufacturing, support of local manufacturers, because in one way or the other, we must make sure that they are not able to compete with the international manufacturers. We must protect our local manufacturers, Madam Speaker. And because there are so many elements, there are so many angles whereby that the transformers are becoming so expensive for us as government to deal with, we must be able to support the local manufacturers, make sure they are well equipped so that any international occurrence may not be able to affect them when they are dealing with their manufacturing. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we support the local manufacturers.
I want to say the issue of transformers in this country and encouraging these transformers to be assembled locally. It is very, very important because we have issues across the country where a whole country, about a quarter of this country or even a half, is not connected to the grid. Madam Speaker, I wish to state clearly that if electricity supply is consistent in our entire country, then we will have opportunity of the youth working in the villages, like doing welding, hair salons, and supporting them in their daily endeavors. Because, Honorable Madam Speaker, we cannot employ everyone in the urban areas. Madam Speaker, I want to say, other than the transformers being manufactured locally, we also need to go a step further and ensure that we also reduce duty on cables, wires, stays that go along with connectivity. We also have an opportunity of also reducing excess duties on croissant and the steroids that also help in connectivity of electricity. However, Madam Speaker, as much as we talk about assembling these transformers, even today, what we should tend to fight more is fighting economic crime. Because, Madam Speaker, we have transformers across the country, and every now and then we hear they have been vandalized. Unless we deal with this kind of crime, we will be fighting and increasing transformers, and there will be other people coming behind us, vandalizing and sabotaging the economy of this country. Madam Speaker, for every progressive country to grow and grow successfully, we must support local manufacturing. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to laud this very, very important move. And I want to say we should have done it a year ago or even 10 years ago so that this country, Madam Speaker, can be able to grow and we spur our own economic growth, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say the issue of quality assurance is equally very key because we might start manufacturing these transformers and end up doing substandard things if we do not apply the issue of quality assurance. And I'm sure this will come at that time then when we pass this very, very important bill. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I support this bill and I say as a country, this is the way to go. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Thuku Kwenya, member for Kinangop.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to, in a very special way, support, but also say that even as we support, it is both a win and a loss in the sense that once we amend this law as is, because we just passed this law last year in the tax amendment laws, Madam Speaker, I realize that transformers fully assembled and their parts share the same HS code. And that means then, as much as we want to protect local manufacturing, then we are giving them an equal opportunity with importers. And that being the case, Madam Speaker, I thought that maybe Finance Committee would have done a better job by separating the two codes, fully assembled transformers and the parts, so that then we exempt duty on imported parts, but still impose duty on fully assembled transformer. So that then, Madam Speaker, we have a situation whereby we are promoting local manufacturing. That component of assembly would mean some job for some young people in this country. And therefore, even as we celebrate our misstep, because this was a misstep in the first place when we passed the same in tax amendment laws, then we should go further by maybe introducing a new HS code for imported parts, so that then we cure the issue of electricity in this country is quite a big one, and especially in the constituency that I represent, 100% connectivity. A lot needs to be done by this House, and especially call out Kenya Power and Lighting Company and Rural Electrification Authority. So that then, Madam Speaker, we do not have these slack and delays whereby once a project is done, by the time the one agency is transferring to the next, there are many, we need to have some harmony. So that then even as we look in terms of costing, we do not lose money again as in a situation whereby the government has invested its money in a project, but the project is not being commissioned, and therefore even the rate of return and the time of return delays. Because we should, Kenya Power and REREC should work like business people, whereby once you invest, you should follow through to see the need as members of parliament, not just to pass good laws here, but also call out the implementing agencies so that then they do what they're supposed to do and do within the stipulated time. With that, Madam Speaker, I want to be generous with my time, but I think I've passed my point. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Peter Kaluma, member for Homa Bay Town.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to contribute to this particular one as a member of the Departmental Committee on Finance and Economic Planning. Madam Speaker, up to this morning, you've seen very many of our media houses making publications about intentions by the current government to increase the taxes. I wanted to confirm that that is the reason as to why, when we have a chance to confirm to the nation that that is not an intent, we have to thank you for allowing us to do so. Honorable Speaker, I sit in this committee which deals with taxation, and really that bill the media is talking about is not known to us. And let me confirm, Honorable Speaker, to the nation, that it is Parliament that taxes. In fact, the main reason as to why parliaments exist is on the principle that there can be no taxation without representation. So these appearances they keep making that President Ruto or anybody outside imposed 25%, to understand this clearly, because I'm hearing members contributing, confusing parts, assembled, non-assembled. It was an imposition on fully assembled transformers. And it was hoped that if we made that imposition, Honorable Speaker, then the parts of transformers would be low, or locally manufactured transformers would be lower in cost. And so we would be spurring new industries to come to assemble and make this more available while creating employment opportunities also for our people. Honorable Speaker and community, all member states of the East African community impose this tax under the same tariff code for both imported parts and fully assembled transformers. So that when we thought, even though we don't have companies which can manufacture transformers, the ones which can assemble would be getting the parts at a lower excise duty because we imposed 25 on the fully assembled. The fact of the matter is that both fully assembled and the parts to be assembled locally under the East Africa Community Common Customs External Tariff Arrangement attract the same 25%. So that, in effect, we have not achieved the economic intent we intended by this amendment. And it's for that reason, Honorable Speaker, that I want to agree with the committee and everybody that if you are going to spur economic growth, if you are going to spur industry, and this is a good confirm, that we've seen people sometimes saying, oh, our old president was launching a transformer somewhere. The fact of the matter, but do you know we are far, far below 30% of electric power penetration. And for some people, while others laugh at it, for some people, if we were to get just a transformer, it is a celebration worth launching. And therefore, any measure, Honorable Speaker, any measure that allows the country to lower the cost of transport.
There's a point of order by
the distribution of electricity in respective areas in the country is still very low. The statement was out of context, and I was just trying to help him to say a fact that Homa Bay.
Honorable Speaker, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for reminding
Maybe I would have assisted you if you sought to inform the Honorable Kaluma. And I want to be generous.
Do you want to
Would
inform
you
me?
like to inform? Kaluma does not want to be informed.
I don't want. What a constituency I represent. He cannot competently inform me. Honorable Speaker, the point I was making is the fact of the matter is that in some areas, seeing a transformer is huge. It makes lighting of those rural communities very easy. Everywhere we go, Honorable Speaker, people are now saying, is there going to come a time? Also, our women, who are the backbone of the rural economy, are saying, is there a time I will come home and I just touch the switch and there would be light at home? And so it is a big thing for us. Honorable Speaker, when we reduce the cost of transformers as a component for electric power distribution, the impact is that all our schools and learning institutions which are struggling with electrification will be electrified, and progress in the education sector will be achieved. The fact of the matter, Honorable Speaker, is that parts of our economy which depend on electric power, like the digital economy, Honorable Speaker, you know we are starting ICT hubs in every ward in the country. You cannot run it without electric power supply. So the fact of the matter is that all that part of the economy, digital economy, our young people who want to apply for jobs on the computers to work externally or to work off-site are going to be moved. Honorable Speaker, the cost of energy, the committee in charge of finance and taxation on behalf of this parliament, Honorable Speaker, I had proposed, and I want to end by proposing, there would be need, after we reduce the price or the cost of this custom sector, we can lower the cost of petroleum so that we can have industries which are local. The situation we have now because of cost of energy, Honorable Speaker, is that most of our companies are going to neighboring countries, they are producing cheaply, and they are returning their goods here under this East African Common Tariff. So there would be need for that meeting. But for this intervention, we thank the committee, we thank this parliament, and we fully support it as a matter that will not only improve the livelihoods, including health. So many of our health institutions, Honorable Speaker, do not have electric power. And you know that way, the specimens, the various drugs which need to be refrigerated and kept in particular conditions cannot be kept. And that is, hurting even universal health coverage in the country. So this is a positive intervention. We are confirming to the country that where we need to be reasonable and reduce, we are reducing. The others will be considered as we go along. I support and I urge the honorable members of this House to join the committee in supporting this critical amendment. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Ekomas Mutuse, member for Kibwezi West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Cycle. However, time beginning with the Kibaki regime that culminated into legal notice number 112 of 2020. Today, there are a lot of local assembling of motorcycles, and ordinary Kenyans are able to afford a motorcycle. I draw this parallel also to say that if the intention of this amendment is to spur local assembling of transformers, then already there is an example drawn from what we have seen in terms of motorcycles. However, Madam Speaker, as we do so, I have also looked at the Memorandum of Objects and Reasons. And the Memorandum of Objects and Reasons reads as follows. The principal object of this bill is to amend the Excise Duty Act to remove excise duty on imported, fully assembled electric transformers. I'll be therefore requesting my very good friend, the Honorable Kimani, as he replies, to also clarify whether this object includes parts, because in the memorandum that is on the bill, the parts are not listed as part of the reasons for this bill. I therefore support, to the extent that we want to spur local manufacturing, and as well request the committee to move further to come up with regulations akin to those of motorcycles. Because if you are removing duty on parts, the reason you are removing duty is because you do not have local capacity. But that cannot be perpetual. You have to say at a certain particular time, just like Murugara said. So then it is an holistic, explore our own minerals, make our own parts, then we are able to retire some of these tariffs as we build local capacity. But most importantly, I would want to understand, it is just about, is it being backdated, or is it know what it is that we are getting into? I thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Agnes Pereio, member for Narok North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the excess duty bill that will remove the 20% of the excess duty to import transformers and some parts to come and assemble transformers here in Kenya. Electricity is very important to our people, and especially in the rural areas, because our young men are moving to towns because of looking for jobs. And the moment they will have electricity in their villages, they will also be able to create jobs for themselves. And when you look at a constituency like where I represent, we have secondary schools and learning institutions that are not connected to electricity. We have an example of the other day, a woman delivering in one of the maternity, and the matron was using her phone to assist the woman delivering. So when you see that in the health centers or in the hospitals, there is no electricity, then it means that supporting this bill will be important, because we will all have our villages connected. You cannot even tell what percentage that is connected in my constituency, because it is less than 10%. Because we still need electricity. And that's why I support this bill, to make sure that villages are connected, and to make sure that we all have electricity. We need electricity, and at the moment an MP goes to other work in your constituency, everybody will start approaching you
order,
because they
Honorable.
all need electricity. So I support the bill.
Order, Honorable Pereyo. I have a point of order by the Honorable Mwirigi, member for Igembe South. What is out of order, Honorable Mwirigi?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's not my intention to cut short my colleague, but I have risen to point of order number 95, Madam Speaker. Reading the mood of this House, Madam Speaker, all members are supporting this exercise of duty. And I want to call upon the mover to be called to reply. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give a chance to the Honorable Pereyo to conclude, and then I'll find out whether it's the mood of the House that we close this motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me that opportunity to end by saying we need electricity. And our people in the rural areas are seriously in need of electricity, because electricity helps to reduce poverty among our people. Our young people can create jobs for themselves. Women can use electricity at night to do their work. But these days, you find that our women are longing for electricity. And that's why I support the duty, the 20% excess duty to be reduced so that it can allow the local assembly of the transformers. And again, when we have our local assembled transformers, then it means we will reduce the theft of transformers, because there will be no market, because we already have transformers in our own villages, and it is going to be very cheap, and the government can afford to connect electricity in all our villages. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the Honorable Mwirigi rose on a point of order and made reference to standing order number 95, indicating that the mover be called to reply. And I would like to find out whether that is the mood of the House. So I put the question that the mover be now called to reply. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to, before I reply, to donate, because I have 10 minutes, I donate.
Honorable members, making reference to our rules, when we call upon the mover to reply, based on standing order number 95, there is no opportunity for donation. Okay. So you proceed, mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Dr. Nyikala, I tried. But now we are bound by the same rules made by this House. So, Honorable Speaker, I would like to really thank the concern that members of Parliament have, members of National Assembly has had on this particular matter. We want to appreciate the quality of debate that has been made by all of you and the appreciation of the work that the committee is doing to make sure that we enhance local manufacturing, Honorable Speaker. I take note on one of the comments made by the Honorable Mutusa, Honorable Speaker. In our quest to, one of the questions we asked ourselves during this amendment, to ask yourself, do we really have local assemblers and manufacturers of transformers in this country? Honorable Speaker, we had a visit to some of these particular farms, and we actually were able to establish that we have investors in this country who have invested heavily in assembling, and they're willing, once this law is passed, Honorable Speaker, to move into manufacturing of parts of our transformers, Honorable Speaker. As I said in my moving, Honorable Speaker, we must, as a country, become selfish and support our own, rather than becoming a supermarket of importation of products across the globe, Honorable Speaker. We must learn from what global leaders like the Americas have done and make sure that we are selfish to ourselves and we make sure we support, Honorable Speaker, our own local manufacturing, Honorable Speaker. I like the cue made by Honorable Mutusa, Honorable Speaker, and I will urge National Treasury and the Ministry of Trade to further gazette regulations that Honorable Speaker will speak to, even for these parts that we're importing, that we're assembling here, a guideline on the dates in which the industry will put measures in place to make sure that even those parts are manufactured locally, Honorable Speaker. It is possible. When this Honorable House passed the law on exempting excise duty on imported parts of motorcycles, Honorable Speaker, there were regulations that followed that said even for those particular parts, having dates that when now those parts will have to be manufactured here, local, Honorable Speaker. And I urge the Ministry of Treasury to work collaboratively with the Ministry of Trade, led by our very good CS and our former governor for Nakuru, the Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Honorable Speaker, to gazette now regulations that will even give specification to when even these parts that are imported will start to be local manufactured, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I got a report from so many of you, Honorable Speaker, asking about the finance bill of 2025. Honorable Speaker, it is really disheartening to see that you're back to where we were last year. I am seeing analysis on social media of people on the finance bill of 2025. And I'm wondering, that bill has not even had its chance to be in this house. It has not even been tabled. It must be somewhere on the drafting of the budget office under the Ministry of Treasury, Honorable Speaker. And it's really sad that people are already starting to debate and to disinform deliberately. And I say painfully, deliberately misinform and disinform this country. Let us be patient. Let us see the proposals that the Treasury is going to come up. And then I said, we are committed as a house to ensure that we have the views of the public heard, and their views will not be heard just for the sake of it, but they will matter in the decision that the people's representative will pass in this House, Honorable Speaker. And with those many remarks, I beg to reply.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable members, I defer putting of the question to another time, as it will be scheduled by the House Business Committee. Next order.
Order number 12, the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, second reading.
Majority.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I had been carried away by somebody who was asking for the transformer. Now, Honorable Speaker, I beg
but
to
are
move.
you are prepared for this?
Yeah, I am. I am.
So you may proceed on behalf of the leader of the majority party.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the anti-money laundering and combating of terrorism finance.